All right. Welcome to the March 11th Executive Committee of the Libertarian Party of Maine's meeting. I call this meeting to order at 19:08. First order of business, did everyone take a look at minutes from last meeting?
Yes, exciting.
Yes. Okay. Do I have a motion to accept?
So moved.
All right. Jim moves. I will second. Any opposed? Or sorry, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Yep.
All right. So that passes. First order is treasurer's reports at 1908, 1909.
I'll yield to Jim Baines to go over the numbers.
All right, stand by. Yep. Okay, in our primary account, Camden National Bank, our current balance is $630.35. Our secondary account is $14,774.04. I'll repeat. First account 630.35, and the secondary account 14,774.04. Stand by for the PayPal count numbers.
What was the primary? 630.
$630.35.
Can um can someone speak to the almost $100 debit there between last month?
Hang on,
Part
I'll
of that was Joe. See,
Oh, for the website stuff?
yeah,
Website migration? Okay.
yeah. I want to say most of that was Joe because he
All right.
sent me an email about like two or three different charges he was going to put through.
Okay. And we
the
did
pay
vote that. We voted that through in January, if my memory
Yeah, like a
serves.
while ago.
Correct.
and the PayPal account stands at $970.85. That's
Ooh.
970.85.
We got $3.40 this month.
Ow.
I don't know how that's even like what's generating money on our PayPal to that amount?
Let's see.
Probably a $5 recurring monthly with a
Probably.
transaction fee.
Ah, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, we've got some recurring payments, $10 here, $5 there, 5, 15, from Jorge. Cool. Um, yeah.
All right. Just as a note, Ben, if you want to just this as a note on the treasurer's report, once we get CRM up and running, which Joe told me will be next month, um, we should certainly look through our PayPal contributions, like whether or not they're reoccurring or just any like novel contributions from the past. And we should cross-reference those to our CRM and see if anyone's fallen off, put them on a list to reach out to, um, and re-engage them. All right. Moving on to Regions Report at 1912. We'll start off with Mr. Vice Chair.
Take that down, get that back up again. Yeah, so obviously we've been engrossed in getting all 16 caucuses completed here. As of now, I have confirmation that 12 are completed. I just sent an email about that. I do want to say that, and we've gotten to these done in a mixed amount of ways. A lot of it was due to existing relationships we had with registered libertarians we've had for years. But some of them, at least three, we needed to find people. we found the other registered libertarian in Gina's hometown here, and he replied to a Facebook message that I sent out looking for someone. He replied to it. He got together with Gina and got that one done in his little town. They were the only two registered libertarians in that town, but that checked off the Franklin County check sheet right there.
Sweet.
Similar deal with Andy. We found someone who worked with Andy Gardner several years ago and said, "Hey, yeah, I can work with Andy again." And Andy and Sterling is his name, got it done. Um, and I've done three of these myself this time around. And the one thing I do want to say on the record is, it seems that people are more interested in meeting online than meeting in person.
Mhm.
It's just the one thing that's a lot more convenient to do. It's not that they don't want to go out. Well, no, yeah, part of it is they don't want to go. They just want to sit down, get on a meeting, and meet people there. I don't think it's as personal, but the fact of the matter is, I think we can push that over next several months and then still have an in-person meeting once or twice a year. But I want to start it once this is all done to have just a meeting with everybody that went to the caucuses, everybody who organized the caucus, so they can get to know the other people. So Doug and Ellsworth can get to know Brian in Callis, and the rest of them. I want to really kind of push getting to know each other so that helps build the camaraderie a little bit here.
Yeah.
That's the exciting part of it. One other thing I want to mention is there will be a special election for um, House District number 29, which is in the northern part of Penobscot County, the Millinocket area. Unfortunately, there will be no Libertarian on the ticket. This was an opportunity for us to try to find someone. We had 19 registered Libertarians up there. I just sent out a form letter to all of them and saying, "Hey, is anybody interested?" And I heard nothing. But these are the things we have to keep an eye on. We need to find people that are willing to run for office, which is not going to be an easy deal. But these are the kind of things we need to just keep an eye on and talk with people and let them know we're looking to get people elected. Could be at the municipal level, could be the state level, whatever. Just get people to run, and that's kind of
Jason,
how we build the party.
that's something that the AI tool can help with, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Because that's a labor of love for a person to be sitting down and trying to figure out where all the empty seats are in the state.
Yeah, I'm intrigued, Jason. Can AI help us with that?
So it'll look through. So on the maine.gov website, it'll have all your district maps. And what you can do is correspond those district maps to actual. So each individual county will have either its own website, like for example, like the Tower of Liberty has its own website. So whenever there's any kind of elections or anything like that, it'll go on there. So you create a scraper that'll look at every single district and reference it to each individual website, and then it'll go, okay, is there anything showing that this seat is filled? And if not, it'll like, give you a query result of all the things that are not filled.
Right. Very good. Looking forward to that. While we're talking, Jason, I want to say on the record, you had an outstanding Facebook post on the monetary ramifications of a war with Iran here and
Oh,
what that's been so far. And I have one massive complaint about it, though. It wasn't shareable. I wanted to share that
oh
immediately
really?
as soon as I got it. Yeah, yeah. If you want to make that shareable, I'll do
Yeah.
so on my own page and the Facebook page. Yeah, our state and county pages too.
Yep.
So
All
yeah,
right,
that was great stuff. I think we should send that out on Mailchimp too. It was well written.
thank you, mate.
All right, very good. Um, that is all I have.
Okay. Just real quick before we get to the other region reps, I want to mention that so the main state law, as far as caucuses go, does allow for virtual caucuses. So that is an option in 28 when we have to do this again. The only stipulation, if memory serves, is that whoever's hosting the meeting, like, or whoever's calling the caucus um, at that address, like that needs to be obviously held within the county. But
Right.
that person could have a Zoom link that others from the county. It's just, you're not going to be able to have anyone sign. unless we have a digital sign-in sheet, which we can certainly formulate between now and then.
Yeah,
But
that's exactly the reason I didn't push it. How do we get people to sign it? I was just more interested. Let's make sure we get it at least a couple people and deal it that way. But
yeah,
yeah,
we'd
but
probably have to do some sort of like jot form or something like that, just so that has a, an official, digital signature type of capacity in it.
right.
But all right, Brian, Eastern region.
Uh, Not much has changed since the last meeting we had. What was it, last week? Like I said, we got the Washington County caucus taken care of. The Washington County Facebook page is now up and running. I'll have the Hancock one finished this weekend. Other than that, just lots of interaction online, primarily Facebook, talking to people, especially with everything in Iran kicking off. It's made for some pretty good engagement.
Right.
Um,
What are you noticing?
um, a lot of conservatives going back to that war hawk mentality.
Yeah,
I mean, that's kind of expected, I guess.
Just really defending the guy they voted for mostly, right?
basically. That's what it seems like from my perspective as well. It's sad, but
Yeah,
it's
but
like,
on the
Yeah,
bright
I,
side, we have the anti-war Democrats back.
yeah,
yeah. I think a lot of the conservatives are.
Temporarily.
I, I think a lot of conservatives are defending their choice more than the person they voted for.
Yeah,
Where
I do. Yeah.
uh, I've been open about voting for Trump, and I've been heavily critical of him. They're having that, problem accepting that maybe it was not the greatest option.
Yeah.
all right. Next, Sean.
Let's see. The past month, I've attended the Kennebec County caucus with Dane and held the Knox County caucus this past weekend. There was some paperwork needed clearing up. The only other person who elected secretary forgot to get a signature. She signed the sign-in list, but not the yes, I'm the secretary. So the other day I got it. I got to scan it and send it in to Jim tomorrow.
Thank you.
What's your other county that you have?
Waldo and Lincoln.
Waldo and Lincoln. And Lincoln was done and Waldo was done.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Uh, so
Sorry, I got a message from my wife and needed to make sure she didn't need me. What was the other caucus you did this weekend? Besides
no,
Kennebec? Knox.
And Penobscot as well.
well, Penobscot would have been under Eastern region.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Oh yes, one follow-up from last meeting. I have not received any word about the Kennebec LP Facebook page.
Okay.
Jim was
Uh,
supposed to be working on that.
Yeah, I thought okay. Yeah, I
yeah,
thought I
didn't
was.
I
Yeah, no,
thought
wait.
you were too because
Yeah.
Paul Corey was the admin, right?
No, Jeremy. In fact, Jeremy handed over the keys on that one. I got it.
Okay,
Yeah,
well, I
as
guess I
did
haven't been
I.
signed on to it.
Yeah,
Okay.
Kennebec. Yeah, Paul. I don't know. I don't think Paul Corey was on the Androscoggin one. I'll look into that. But yeah, let me see. No, I have yeah, in fact I'm on it right now. I am an admin. I think Dane, you are too. I think
Yeah.
I sent it over to you,
I
so
believe I believe I added you, Sean, but I could be wrong.
I can add you right now.
Just remember you have
Yeah.
to actually go to the page in order to accept the admin privs. It's not going to be a notification.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I got it open right now, so.
Yeah, we need to get our branding on it. It's got the old
Yeah.
branding that they did. So
Yeah.
yeah, okay. Let me get that over to you, Sean.
Okay. After the meeting.
Cool. All right. So next order of business is IT reports. Joe's not here, so we will table that. On to old business. A lot of this is probably going to get deleted here at 1922 for handovers. All region reps encouraged to start new county pages with standardized naming, link convention, and there are and if there are counties with accessible social media accounts to be added, myself and Jim to be added. Looks like Eastern Region Hancock needed to be done. However, is that finished, Brian?
I'll have that done this weekend. I'm actually working on it right now.
Okay. Um, Western Region, Joe needs to get us what he has and doesn't have. I know I think I have Androscoggin and Franklin right now. I don't know about Piscataquis and Oxford. Central Region, we did get Kennebec. That was the one that Paul Corey had. Um, Let me just open up my Facebook real quick and confirm I have that. I do have Kennebec, so I will get you that, Sean, later, post haste. Um, and then Southern Region, we'll have to wait on Joe for that. Saginaw Hawk should be okay because I know I had it, and I don't know about Androscoggin. Um, Next order of business, DC and BT should be on Camden National. Kate and who's SD? That must be who's SD? Anyone? Anyone know who
I know.
SD was
Oh,
then?
hang on. I'm look. Where are we looking here?
I'm
Because I'm
guessing
looking.
SD is my wife.
Oh, that might be because she was secretary. Yeah, that's
That's
probably
right.
it. Yeah,
That's right.
yeah. All right. I know Jim, I saw you reply to that email. For Ben, I just did a bump on that initial email thread. Um, so just get whatever info you need to Emma at your earliest.
I'm not sure Sam is still on it. To tell you the truth, I'll verify that.
Might not be.
Yeah, I don't think that was ever. She was only on for a little while there. I'm not sure that was ever finalized. I'll double check it though.
Right.
Okay.
All right, moving on to tabling events. And this is an old business because we've already voted on some of this, 1926. So first thing I want to mention, and this is going to be more for Joe or maybe Jason, whoever can create it. I know Joe was creating a landing page that was going to have a donate, a become a member, and join the mailing list. So we'll have a QR code on an 8.5 by 11 to have posted on our tables for people to scan and do one of those three things. As far as upcoming events, we have three gun shows that we earmarked money for four. However, Thompson is sold out. I just wanted to touch base quickly on the other three and bring up a couple more. Just have a wider discussion on these because I'm going to purchase ticket or tabling fees for us for Holton, Biddeford, and potentially Waterville, although that's not on their website anymore, which is odd. So we have 270 bucks earmarked for this. I'll spend it accordingly based on who we have to table what and um, what makes sense. So just to go through it quickly, we have Holton is going to be Ben and Brian for 425 and 26. Biddeford will be Tim and potentially Joe. I have a show that evening, so I'm taking myself out of that running. Pat Ford also did express interest in coming up for that. So we could also lean on Pat Ford as a second and or third for Biddeford. Biddeford's been a great show for us in the years past. So I just got to touch base with Weeks on that to see if he's willing to also table that with Tim. Next, we have Waterville 12, 4, and 5, which is no longer listed on the website. So this might be something that goes away for us. But there are also other shows, one in Augusta, 8, 23, and 24, and another in Holton, 9, 12, and 13. And there's also one in Lincoln, 9, 13, and 9, 20. Do I have any volunteers for any of those three gun shows?
I'll go to Augusta.
Okay.
That one's we've been at before, I think.
Yep.
I could
Oh.
potentially do the Holton one again as well.
Okay.
Lincoln's is my area. So let me just see. Hold on, the 19th and the 20th. Might need some assistance on that. I may have some things going on that weekend here, but I'll commit. Is that a Saturday, Sunday, or Friday, Saturday?
They're usually Saturday, Sundays.
Okay.
I would have to pull up my calendar to see.
It's Saturday, Sunday.
Okay.
I'll have to check, but I may be able to help with that as well. That's not too far.
That would be sweet. We can touch base on this. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna because we have people for Holton and um Biddeford, it looks like. I'm gonna talk to Weeks, but I'm gonna get those two tickets in the next week or so. And we'll just take that off of the voted for 270 and see what else we have to play with, and we can revisit it these shows next month, if need be, for further volunteers. There is going to be a meeting next Wednesday for all people that are going to be tabling any of these shows, more for just to um, plan out and coordinate our tabling assets. I know I have a shitload of stuff. I know Brian, you've got some. Jim, I don't know if you still have a bunch of stuff. I know we've got
I
stuff.
got some, yeah.
We've got stuff all over the state. I'm planning on. I haven't done it yet, but I'm gonna put it on my note right now. I'm gonna create a document on the, I don't know, probably county development tab in the drive that's going to be an asset tracker for everyone. It'll be on the y-axis just what the thing is, and on the x-axis all of our names, and we can kind of keep track of who's got what where. Asset tracker spreadsheet. Um, all right. This
And
point,
I
what?
will make note that the dates for the Augusta Gun Show, at least the 23rd and 24th is shown, is a Sunday, Monday. So you might want to double check whether that's
We
the
might have fat fingered that. Let me go to the link here. Let me just confirm that. What month was that?
August.
August 23rd and 24th is what they have listed on their website.
Lincoln, as it turns out, I'm out of town. That's my anniversary weekend, so that's
Okay.
gonna be a tough one to get. Holton, I got something on that Saturday, but Ben, I'll probably join you on the 13th.
Okay. Yeah, I'm leaning towards going, but wife and I are gonna have to start seeing specialists in Boston for her. So it
Right. Well,
too far out for me to say for sure if I'm gonna be able to make it.
right. We'll talk more.
Okay.
Yeah, we can talk more on this stuff in detail next Wednesday when we have our kind of logistics and planning for all of these coming up. With that, though, if we could go back, I think we skipped. Did we skip an item in this?
Rifle
Jason,
build.
if we could take this time to discuss the the raffle and what the loose plan is with that.
Sure. So Dane has forced me. I'm just kidding. Dane has asked me to build a rifle that we can be sold off via a raffle. So it'd be an AR. I happen to have some of the parts already because I was in the process of building another one for no reason. So I will donate the parts that I do have. The remaining parts we would have to purchase. As I mentioned to Dane, the quality of the rifle is going to depend on how much money we want to spend. So luckily, by building it, we save ourselves quite a bit of money. So what I told Dane was that, for example, if we were to spend, let's say, up to $1,000, the quality would be equivalent to going and buying an off-the-shelf like $2,000 rifle. So in terms of the value, it'd be a good return on investment. So depending on how many raffles we sell, let's say we do, I think what Dane was mentioning was maybe like $5 a raffle. You get 200 raffles, it pays for itself. Anything past that is profit. I have a very strong feeling that once we did a post of what the rifle was, it would get far more than 200 raffles because I might put in a few myself. So
Right.
I think it would do quite well, but it's all up to how much we want to spend. I did double check with ATF. So since it's a private sale, we would just have to fill out the proper forms, basically for the background check. And then there's a website you can go ahead and process that form. Anybody can do it. It costs $45 to run the fee to run it as someone who does not have an FFL. But depending on what show we did this at, I'm pretty sure I have 1,000 bytes of FFLs that could probably do it for us and can waive the fee. But either way, we would just do the background check. Once they get processed, we would order a receipt, just like at a gun show, and then that's that.
Hey, can I be a negative Nancy here real quick about this?
Sure.
Or
So, um, is there a plan to serialize it with the new laws coming out?
So it would be serialized. It depends on how quickly we do this. So as of right now, current ATF laws ATF laws period, as long as we do it as a private sale, all we have to do is the background check. As long as it's a properly serialized item and it's non-restricted because it's going to be semi-automatic, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. No,
Anything
I'm just thinking
past
the new state laws that require everything to be serialized.
can't we just Dremel a 1 on it?
Well, it would be serialized because I would purchase a serialized lower just to make sure that we're safe.
Oh,
And
okay.
and then the other thing is where you and I don't know the laws to this, but where you are not a gun manufacturer, if that gun was to blow up in somebody's hand, are you going to be sued for that?
No, and I am a licensed gun manufacturer.
All right, and that takes care of that. I just don't want to see you getting sued for everything you got
No, I
because
got you. Yeah,
somebody put the wrong round through it or something.
yeah. I'm a licensed gunsmith through SDI.
All right.
Good.
Did
Um,
you said 200 breaks even or profits?
Well, if we're gonna target $1,000 all in for Jason's time, parts and materials, and the $45 fee, which I think is a good round number, then 200 would get us to break even. So I would propose that we at least sell 400 tickets and draw at that point. We could go to 500. It's really, I mean, I think from seeing a lot of what GOM does, and granted, GOM is a much more gun-like organization than we are, and they have a lot more followers and a lot more people engaged with their stuff.
Gun
But
Owners of America for people who are not aware of the acronym.
no, GOM is Gun Owners of Maine.
Maine.
Oh, Maine, sorry.
Yeah.
Maine.
But that's what they do. They'll do they'll just, because I've talked to some of their board members, they'll just keystone the whatever their cost was for said item, they'll just keystone it and sell double that amount of tickets, which I think is fine for us. It'll be a little bit of profit, it'll be something to talk about at the show. Jason and I have both elected to donate some of our stock ammunition to kind of sweeten the pot a little bit.
I have one question. And actually, Sean might help me with this. Using your institutional knowledge, do you remember we've done gun raffles before, but do you remember running into a snag with what we're allowed to promote online or I'm just like I said, it's a vague recollection. Remember anything about that?
I'm not sure with gun raffles. I mean,
I know with Facebook, we'll be able to.
we skirted the line, but I think we kept within it with a lobster raffle, but lobsters is much different than a gun.
Yes, right. No, Jason, go
what was
ahead.
it you said? Yeah,
Yeah, so Facebook policy, we wouldn't be able to actually like picture the firearm. Or well, basically what we can do on what Facebook would allow for us to do, for example, because I'm the one social media platform that we use the most, is we would be able to describe the raffle, say what the giveaway is, and then reference back to our website for them to go ahead and purchase raffle tickets or anything else like that. But we couldn't use the Facebook actual like payment system to do any kind of raffle purchasing. They'd have to get referred to another payment processor or to our website or something like that. And we couldn't use any imagery. So it'd just be like, hey, the Libertarian Party is doing a raffle. Whenever the raffle receives a blah, 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 blah. If you're interested in this raffle, please feel free to visit our website or to go to our PayPal account and blah, 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 blah. But you can't do anything on Facebook itself.
Yeah, personally, I think this is more of a in-person event thing,
I mean, we can make an infographic though that we'll be at these shows, we'll have these
Oh,
raffle
yes,
tickets.
definitely.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
We'll have these raffle tickets at the shows, come see us.
About the actual ticketing of this, because I know this was discussed. I think Jason and you and I were talking about this.
Mm-hmm.
How do we go about the actual ticketing?
I would get an actual like a proper. So you can do two ways. I would do a combination. There's actual like a digital raffle that you can use for people who do things online, where they would submit their name and email address, and we would send them their digital raffle tickets. If it's in person, it would be the actual raffle tickets. I say $4 for $5 or whatever the hell it is, and then we would just use the same thing. So we would go ahead and take those physical raffles, print off the digital raffles because they'll just let you print like a fake digital ticket, mix it all together, and then you get your winner.
Okay, can you look into the digital side of things?
I already have the app already.
You do.
Okay. Yep.
All right. Okay. I think what we're gonna, as far as a deadline, we should have a parts list and a infographic slash like the raffle ticketing system, how we're gonna go about that, ready for the April show. So that gives us just over 6 weeks to get that squared away before the Holton show, which is the first one we're doing. That seemed doable? That's more for you, Jason, than anyone else.
Can you repeat that? Sorry.
Does it seem doable to have a like a bill of materials of what the build is going to include and be ready to start the digital raffle slash physical raffle ticketing process by the Holton show at the end of April?
Oh yeah, I can have a list of materials for you like Saturday.
Okay. Would you mind compiling that into like an infographic as well?
Yeah, I could do that. I'll feed it all into my personal gem and have it do an infographic.
Yeah,
Sweet.
something printer friendly would be nice. I have a few places I could drop one off at in person.
Yeah, no problem.
Sweet. Thank you.
Perfect. Maybe with a QR to the raffle link.
Yeah, I figured I'll use the PayPal QR.
You know how to do the things. Sorry.
PayPal may not be fond of firearm raffles.
We'll see.
I'll just
all
be
right.
over the service, but yeah.
Next item is the Great State of Maine Homeschool Conference, May 1 and 2, scheduled from 0900 to 1400 both days. Joe Weeks and Sean have signed up for 5-1. Tim McIver and Jim have signed up for 5-2. The meeting for that logistical planning is going to be on April Fools at 1900 hours. Anyone have any questions about that? Everyone that's involved, cool with that date and that meeting time?
Good. That's a
Yes.
Wednesday.
Yep. Everyone good?
I'm good.
Okay. Moving on to coalitions and upcoming discussions with candidates. This is a bit of a holdover at 1943. So, first thing is, I know I mentioned last month that I spoke to Alex Titcomb from the dinner table, who also was formerly Laurel Libby's campaign manager and political advisor. They have since diverged because Laurel is doing the lead Maine pack and Alex is focusing on the dinner table. Their main priority is local elections, so very much in our vein of Project Decentralized Revolution. They're very much going grassroots, bottom up. Um, we had a very good conversation, and he is very keen to work with us. And I invited him after our conversation to come and sit down with the XCOM and just kind of put some teeth on what a coalition with the dinner table might look like and what we could do for each other. So with that, just open the floor up for further discussion on this. Questions, concerns,
Most
comments?
of the meetings online or in person, or what's the game
Their
plan?
their meetings,
Yeah.
I believe most of their meetings are in person. Um, and he was kind of guarded with his membership level, although I know from insiders that they have about 150 members statewide, um, with a large concentration in the LA area. Um, and obviously their objective has been, running Republicans against Democrats as much as possible, but he he himself is a avowed libertarian, just registered as a rhino, um, but wants to obviously, if we've got people to run in XYZ position, would be more than amenable to help us with that effort, as would his organization.
They seem to have a pretty strong social media reach from what I recall last time I
Mhm.
interacted with them as well, so that could be beneficial for sure.
Yep. Anything else on the dinner table or Alex Titcomb?
I'd
All
like to
right.
learn more about it. I mean, this is
Yeah,
some
I
growth
mean, and
opportunity. Growth
that's what this
opportunity.
meeting
Yeah.
would be. Yeah,
Yeah.
would be just more of getting it, because it's only been me talking to him, for months. And I want to get the rest of your input and kind of kick the tires, if you will.
It almost sounds like an opportunity to take the LPNH approach here in Maine, or at least part of it, which I've been a fan of their approach for the most part. Maybe not the messaging most times,
Right.
but the approach it seems effective.
All right. Moving on. So most of you know that about 6 weeks or 8 weeks ago, I reached out to all the major gubernatorial candidates, of which we had several meetings with several candidates from both parties and several independents. Most of those haven't really yielded much yet. But Bobby Charles, campaign manager, replied to my email 8 weeks late, and was curious as to what our intention would be to talk to him. I will be honest, I'm not very fond of Bobby Charles or what his campaign has been so far. But I want to kind of know what the rest of you think as far as I have yet to respond. I think he sent me the email a week ago. But I kind of wanted to hear some input from the rest of you as to what your thoughts are and or some advice on what my approach should be with that specifically.
Could be worth talking to him, even if we know for a fact there's zero chance in seven hells that we're going to endorse that kind of candidate. But at the very least, if we can get an understanding of what he has to say, if we do choose to endorse another candidate later, we could assist them by providing them basically materials that they can use to attack him from a libertarian lens.
I like
So,
that.
like, if he has a bunch of stupid shit to say, not saying that he will. God, I mean, but best case scenario, he completely 180s, and we're like, oh wow, how reasonable. But on the 98% chance that does not happen, at the very least, we did the right thing. We took the opportunity to speak to a, whether we like him or not, a rising political figure in a state who has a lot of momentum behind him. We can say that we had an amicable conversation. We disagreed on policy, and then when the time comes, if we need to go ahead and provide materials or anything else to counter his messaging, it can't just be like, oh well, you never talked to him, so you don't really know what he's coming from. You're just going off the cliffs. We can say, nope, we had the conversation. We did our due diligence, and we've come to this conclusion.
Yeah, I like that.
I think Jason's exactly right. And one other notable thing is I think he's the only one that is not participating in the Republican debate
Richard. Yes. Yep.
coming up. Yeah, what is that? I mean, that to me, that's a red flag.
What do you mean by red flag?
Well, by that I mean, I've really always been weary of people who says, "Nah, I'm not going to debate the others." Yeah, it's like, no, if you got a
Fair.
good if you've got a good message, then put it up against the rest.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. And I mean that was certainly my impulse when I found that out that he was going to be the only one of the top like seven or eight of them that are running that he was not going to show up, especially considering that he's in the lead by I think he's because it's like him, was it Maggie and Jones? Is that right, Jason?
Yep,
And is Maggie the second one?
I think Match is the second one.
Okay, so and I think he and Jones are like 10 points apart, if memory serves, but that was
Yeah,
all I saw last week. So I like Jones, but his campaign didn't reach out at all. Um, yeah, I will respond in kind based on your guys' input and just kind of broach it as we just want to have a discussion with Bobby and see where we might come together on things. And just see what's what. He might swat that down because he might not have an hour to give to us on something that's not going to yield him anything potentially in the end. But we think that's a decent approach.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
absolutely. I always, reach out there, but um,
All right. Moving on to the other two that we have on the list here. Derek Levasseur, for those of you who don't know, is running as an independent. We had several great conversations with him. He's another, like, certainly a libertarian running as an independent, has been involved in LP-esque or adjacent, like liberty adjacent efforts for over a decade now. Um, I don't know what his current polling numbers are at. Um, we discussed a couple times, we talked privately about the idea of us endorsing him. He's running for governor, right?
right.
Yes. I'm open to the idea, but at the same time, I haven't really heard anything from him in a month.
I was just going to ask you that because, yeah,
Yeah, I spoke to him on February 15, for about an hour, and he was kind of trying a hard sell and solicit an endorsement by this month, which is making me made me raise my eyebrow a little bit that he hasn't like reached out again. Um, I feel comfortable with an endorsement of him, but then again, we don't have to endorse anyone for governor. He is also someone who was entertaining the idea of running as Libertarian, but because we didn't get him our voter rolls in enough time for him to garner enough signatures in order to get on the ballot, which I don't know as of yet if he has done yet or not. Anyone know what the deadline is for petitions?
Um,
It's coming
hang
up
on.
soon, isn't it?
It is. Sean's muted, but I think you got the Sean, you're muted. You
Yeah,
ready
I
to
was
say
in the
something?
wrong window to be able to unmute. Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's mid-May. At
Okay.
Yeah.
least,
Yeah.
but let me check.
And that mid-May to have the amount of signatures in order to be on the ballot.
He may be
Right.
putting all his efforts in that right now and had that
Right.
time to reach out to us, or maybe. And I hope I'm wrong. Maybe he's had a change of heart. Who knows? But
I don't think that he
we don't know.
has.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't know, but just based on my gut feeling of having spoken to him for 6-ish hours total, I don't get that impression at all. I have a good gut feeling on him. I know that doesn't really mean a whole lot to the group here, but um I guess I'll kind of just we'll table that for now. Does anyone have any concerns or comments about Derek specifically at this point before we move on to Tim?
I don't have any specific concerns, and we've already talked about some of the legal stuff he went through, and I think we
Yeah.
can overcome that. But I think the smart move is to table. Let's make sure he gets on the ballot first.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and I'm totally fine with that. I think it's kind of a waste for us to endorse anyone before the ballot is official, personally.
Yep.
And I know that Derek was trying to get something out of us before that happened to try to get a boost out of it, but I'm not keen on getting used in that regard because that's not going to yield really much of anything for us other than his goodwill. Derek is amenable and interested in being a pseudo face of the party moving forward after this election, depending on how it goes. He does want to continue to be more involved in LPME moving forward and in the long term in the future. Um, so there's that as a plus side for us. But again, I think I think we kind of just wait to see which one the way the wind goes for now.
Does he have a social media page?
He has a website and he does have a Facebook. I think it's all Derek for Maine, if memory serves.
Because I mean,
If you look
depend.
through the email invite for the first meeting that we had with him, I believe I dumped all his socials and links in that email thread.
All right, because I mean, depending on what he's posting, I'm open to echoing some of his posts or whatnot,
Yeah,
depending on the messaging.
he did engage with our podcast episode that we posted on Facebook. Um,
All right.
he has been commenting here and there on some of our posts and been sub commenting on some of our engagement on other areas as well. So he is certainly paying attention to what we're doing on social media. Um, so there's that. Anything further on Derek, or can we move on to Tim?
Just one thing, I looked it
Yeah.
up. The deadline is June 1st.
Oh,
All right.
isn't that when the primaries are?
Uh, shortly
Or
before.
okay.
That's usually how it times out. Shortly before the primaries, the independent petitioning ends.
So
Okay.
we should not let's just hold off on any endorsement until we know he has enough signatures. Which, by the way, I want to just to pull a mea culpa. I'm the one who pushed to get him that information on our registrants there. I pushed for it, and I told him I would send it to him, and I didn't. That's on me. I just want to state that publicly.
To the shaming rack with you.
Yep. Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
You guys still hear me? Yeah.
We can hear. Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, my camera's being a pain in the ass.
Can't see you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
All right.
you were frozen for a while.
Yeah. The logo looks good though.
Great. Yeah, I'll just leave it. I'll just leave
Okay.
it for now.
Yeah.
All right. So next is Tim Rich. He is also an independent, also a Liberty adjacent guy. He's been to Pork Fest a bunch of times. Disaffected Democrat, if you will. We had a meeting with him about a month ago, I believe, if that memory serves. I then also had a private chat with him after the fact and labored the point of that these things, if endorsement needs to be mutually beneficial for both them and us. He's running for Senate, U.S. Senate. Um, if honestly, I'm kind of the point of sleeping dogs lie at this point, similar to Derek. Like, let's see if he actually gets enough petitions or signatures for his play on the ballot, and we can kind of go from there.
I
Agreed?
always think. Yeah, I agree. I always think it should be policy. We don't endorse someone unless they actually get on the ballot. Maybe it's a writing candidate, but let's just worry about that another time.
Okay. Um, didn't we have? Oh, okay. All right. Next item. Um, so just real quick, just to cue everyone else in, the LNC had a vote last Sunday, I believe it was, to earmark $10,000 to retain a lawyer to go after former chair Angela McCardle on the accusations of fraud. I don't I spoke to Pat Ford about this and I don't know how he voted. I think he said he was going to have to abstain even though half of his region were Vietnam I can't say that word. We're very much against this action. There were also other affiliates that were very much for this. If any of you have read the JC's accounting of this and investigation, there really isn't any teeth on this accusation. But it seems like the LNC is still attempting to pillory McCardle. I myself am very much against this. I don't know. I did share on the Discord server a petition that was circulating. If anyone was against this action, I personally come down on this as we don't have the LNC doesn't have $10,000 to waste on going after a frivolous lawsuit to smear what I think has been one of our best chairs in living memory. I know I might be on an island with that position, but that's where I am. And I just kind of wanted to bring everyone else up to speed on what's been going on. I will get some more information from Pat this week, and hopefully we'll be able to report that back on the
Maybe a
Discord.
quick comment on the record just because of this. This is ridiculous.
Sure.
So
And
just to be, go ahead, Jason.
so I can care less about, like, I'm going to rephrase that. I don't want to say I can care less about Angela because I'm quite fond of her, but I can care less about what's happening there. But this is the crux of, and the reason why I'm going to say this is because this is a trap that we as a state affiliate cannot afford to fall into. The LP is broke, hasn't had money in like 5 years, and they're choosing to spend $10,000 to go after a former chair. And if there was like a home run concrete thing where they're like, you know what, $10,000, this ain't nothing. Like, we're gonna dunk this thing right on her head and blah 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 blah. At the very best, this $10,000 is gonna end up going to. This is only gonna be used to go to like Discovery, which means that once we get past Discovery, the LP is gonna have to make another vote to earmark more money that we do not have as a party on the national level. And every dollar that the national party spends is a dollar that they cannot use for a state affiliate.
Yep.
The RNC doesn't do this. The DNC does not do this. Even if they hate each other, like even if they hate each other interstate, the state versus state, but if you ever caught the RNC, actually they did do this once when they tried to get Trump off from the 2016 election. Look how well that went for them. Like
Mhm.
this is like this is a lesson as old as time, that at the end of the day, if you're going to spend money, it needs to be for something that you can get like basic results for. If she's guilty of something, they should prove it, and then they should nail her to the wall and crucify her, and so on and so forth. But they haven't even met like the lowest of lowest standards. So this at the end of the day is $10,000 of wasted money. So the
Correct.
only reason I bring this up is that us as a state affiliate, because this happens in every libertarian party I've ever seen ever, is that we end up getting wrapped up in these little tribal warfares, and we start spending money or we start using assets to go ahead and fight these little wars that we don't have to spend. We don't have the money. The LP National is basically insolvent. The fact that me and Joe had to spend God knows how many hours that we should be billing for hundreds of thousands of dollars to rebuild websites and everything for us because the National Party is so defunct is ridiculous. Do you guys know how much Joe gets billed per hour and how many hours he's put into all the stuff we've done? Like, do you know how much I get billed per hour for what I do and what I've done for the party? Like, I'm not saying like I because I love working with all of you guys. Of course, like I care less. Like the money, give it. I don't want it. And I know Joe doesn't either. But like, this is how you lose people like me and Joe from helping is from bullshit like this. That this is what we're spending money on. It's ridiculous. And I spoke my piece. I'm done.
So I just have one or two clarifying questions. Okay, they're going to spend 10 grand to get what from Angela?
Well, the accusation is that she was on the take and used like party inside information to bolster her own pockets, which the LNC's own independent JC found to not have enough substantiating evidence to prove.
The threshold for that is so high. Like in the actual court, you have that. It's a very high threshold to prove that. You have to prove like intent, that they were aware that what they were doing was wrong. Like that, it's almost like defamation. The bar is so high that God forbid she actually did do it. Like you need to have a mountain of evidence to be able to provide to get anything passed in court.
Not here. I got it. This
Okay, if I may.
Sure.
Okay. Of the statements, I'm kind of the opposite. I am very much a vocal critic of Angela's. I, however, do believe that the LNC's actions, I just believe it's sending out bad money, sending out good money chasing after bad.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, call it Operation Blood from a Stone. And personally,
that was clever. I'm sorry.
I don't think, I don't think this body really, unless we have any motions to make any statements on it to LNC. Personally, I would like to go the main party formally. We ain't got nothing to do with it.
True, we don't.
So with that, move on to the next piece of the agenda.
We can move on, but I do want to just read the room here. As a raise of hands or ayes, do we support the LNC doing earmarking this money and going after blood from a stone, as Sean so eloquently put it? Yay or nay?
Nay.
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 Abstain, because if it would work,
Yeah.
it would be great, but I don't think
Yeah.
it will.
Now, Sean's right. Now, I'm sorry. I'm going to change mine to abstain too, because now Sean is right. This is something that we need to stay out of. I know you guys.
Agreed. No, and I'm not
but,
intending on getting involved, but if we're asked from anyone outside, given that I talk to a lot of other affiliates and, talk to Pat regularly, I want to know where we as an XCOM sit and that we think that this is folly, basically. Yes.
Well, I only see it worthwhile if they're actually going to get money out of it, and if they're not, then what the hell's the point?
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on. At 20:07, just as a reminder to all delegates, if you haven't yet, please reserve your rooms. I know that they did get another group of rooms added on. So if you haven't done that yet, go and reserve your rooms right now. I haven't got my plane ticket yet, but I'm not really too concerned about that. Moving on to new business at 20:07 as well. We need to hold, by law, we need to hold a convention this year. Um, I'd like to pick a date, and I'd like to offer the option of us, um, uh, offer my abode. Kate and I have volunteered to throw the quote unquote summer bash, which I'll motion to rename at a later date because I hate that name. But uh, we need to hold a convention. We're willing to hold it at ours, or we could hold it online. We're probably not going to vote new leadership, given that we just did in November. And this will probably be this summer, but I'm open to discuss what we do, where we do, what's everyone's thoughts.
I'm in just because I want to trash your house, so I'm in.
Okay. You were just here. You had the ample opportunity.
Yeah, but this way I can put it on Sean or Jim and be like, they did it, and then I can just run away and get away with it.
No, I vote to abstain from trashing anyhow. So we'll it's
Jim,
another
come on, I gotta step up.
that's another that's personal property NAP violation, man. So um um yeah, I mean, I definitely want to have it in person because I want, first of all, I want to invite everybody who did a caucus for us. I want to make sure I want us to get as many people and invite as many people as possible. I would, with all due respect to your geography, Dan, I would prefer to have it be more centrally located. In
I
fact,
understand.
I was thinking of actually finding someplace outside. You know what? I don't care if we do it in a damn public park here to cut down on costs because that last one was expensive. And that's something that we need to look at.
Yep.
Um, yeah, no, if you want to host it, I'm certainly not going to even think about usurping that. But I hope that we can find something more centrally located, and that's my only concern with having it in Hiram.
Yep. Other thoughts?
But wherever we have it, we need to invite everybody who did the caucus. We need to invite everybody that's reached out to us. We
I
really
mean,
just got to get the
it'll
yeah,
by the time we're ready to publish this, it'll go out to our whole CRM
Yeah.
right.
entire mailing list, so that won't be an issue. And
Right.
if you wanted to do a private invite to everyone you've been in contact with, then that's fine too.
Oh,
We'll
plan
have
on
the
taking all the information I have on people and get yeah, we'll do
Yep.
that. It won't be private per se, but yeah, I see what you're saying.
Uh,
So,
despite
yep,
venue, inviting people to be speakers might be good, even just for the coalition building aspects.
yep.
Uh,
So I
so
have an in with Steve Robinson. I've spoken to both Clint, Russell and Scott Horton, and they would both be amenable to traveling and appearing for, I think they were both right around like the $1,500, $2,000 mark for said thing.
Orton might be worth it just because of how well he's doing. Like he's been on Pierce Morgan, he's been on a bunch
Yeah.
of people's stuff, and how quick and how well he's doing in some of these debates about Iran and all that stuff. He might be able to draw people from outside the our libertarians, just anybody who's like some semi anti-war, even not even anti-war, just anti this war. And I could
Hmm.
see a lot of GWAT guys. Like I would send, I could if we were to get him, I can give that to like the Maine Veterans Association. And I guarantee you that that would get posted at most American Legions, and we could probably get some people to show up for that.
I like that idea. Um, Anyone have some ideas on when we want to do this? Actually, are there any legal stipulations on what time of year we must do this? I know that
There,
we have to do an
it has to
even.
be done by sometime in August.
Okay. If Sean, if you could find that date,
Yep.
thank you. Um, in the interest of time, we can table this if there's nothing further to next month, and we can formalize a date once we know what the
I
dead.
think we should table it, but we need to knock out a date by the next meeting.
Yep, noted. All right. Next is at 2012, business cards and name tags. So I've already done a couple drafts on business cards. Kate's done a few. It's about $20 for a 250 count from Vistaprint. Um, do we think that business cards are something that we want or need, or do we think that we should just go with like a generic party business card thing for tabling purposes? What do you guys thought on business cards in general?
I had them years ago and honestly barely used them, but that doesn't mean to say that we can't. Well, you know what? We got to step up the outreach. We need to step up the business cards. I mean, the ROI is a lot better. Sean, what do you think? You had them before too. How much did you use them?
Uh, Never used them much, but they're always good to have to hand out, even if it's just a generic one for the party with websites or
Right.
and socials on it.
I'm of the same opinion. I think that having them better than not. I would be willing to contribute at least half the money that it would cost us. We could get all of us 250 business cards for about $250. And I'd be more than willing to contribute half of that. Um, so
I'd, I'd contribute the other half.
okay, sweet. So we got the money. I will pay attention to Discord. I will put a couple drafts of I'll start putting together some designs and personal numbers on or off, or should we have I personally, because I'm not able to get on sideline, don't really want to utilize that. I kind of wish that we could find a different service, to be completely honest. Um,
No reason
but
we can't. I mean, we
yeah.
can shop around here. I know that's been difficult. I mean, and for what it's worth, I guess it doesn't matter which service we use here. I mean, I've two people reached out in the last 6 months, so
And yeah, how much do we pay? Jason, do you know what we pay for sideline?
I have to go look. I don't remember off the top of my head.
I can look it up. I'll get back to you on that one. In
Cool.
fact, why don't we make that an action item? Look for a sideline replacement because what we're having now is, um, yeah, you know what? Let's table that.
Okay. And then just so everyone knows, this is why I asked for your addresses, but these are our, oh, hold on. There we go. These are our new name tags. I already gave Jason his, and the rest will be in the mail in the next week or so.
Do you have my address already, Dane?
I looked through my phone and I actually think I had all of your addresses. I just asked for it just to confirm that I have them all accurate because most of us are delegates and I needed it for delegate registration. So
Okay, yeah, I don't remember seeing you ask me, but also I've been
there was an email. It was an email I sent out earlier today that went to XCOM. So
oh, all
check your
right.
inbox. It'll be in there. Next order of business, the merch store at 2016. This is not integrated into our website yet, although I know it'll be a simple ad for Joe. We have a plethora of shit at it. We use Teespring right now. We have a bunch of stuff in there. A lot of it sucks, and a lot of it's very obsolete, in my opinion. However, I've been talking to Gina about this, and she has elected and volunteered to help manage some of that marketing materials and create and some of our items that we put in there and whatnot, for which we would just need to give her some access to the assets. I would probably give her a LPME email so that she can get into the drive a little bit easier on her own. So with that, I am going to motion to give Gina Oswald login privileges for Ansley Flags, Banner Buzz, and Teespring/Creator Spring accounts for the purposes of merch and tabling material creation and management. Do I have a second?
Second.
I'll second.
Sean seconds. Ben, just note that that motion came in at 2017. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any,
Aye.
any opposed? All right, motion passes. All right, next order of business is, and if you won't mind, so I'll go over it, Ben, and then if you won't mind just going to that link. So we need to append our social media SOP, Article 3, Section B, to edit. So is that right? I don't think that's right. It had to do with the three. Okay, right there. So section B, commentary and current events or government actions. Posts expressing political positions or critiques require a two-thirds majority vote of the executive committee. I find this, I mean, granted, this is in the SOP, and the reason why we're going through this is because we need to ratify any changes to the SOP. I think that this cuts us off at the knees a little bit, especially with Tim kind of taking over the lion's share of our social media posting. So I would like this to, I don't know how to really put this. I've discussed with Tim that, like, with, you know, go with the 80/20 rule. If it's something that you think 80% of libertarians agree with, then you probably don't need to ask for approval. If you have any questions, do an at everyone on Discord and get one or two of, an executive committee members' input, just as like a check on that. So I don't know how to write that out, but thoughts on this current section and or how we should augment it.
I I personally, I like the 80/20 rule, but maybe with the stipulation, unless one of us disagree, right? Like I think if there's one or
Right?
two people that
Fair.
disagree, that should force some kind of discussion or vote on that.
So that brings up the point of what kind of time frame are we talking here? Because if we're using Discord as our main mode of doing this, and Tim has a post at 8 a.m., hey, question about this at everyone, and no one responds for a day, like,
I,
does he just
I,
sit on it?
I
I
think 24 hours is reasonable
Okay.
myself. Sorry, Jim, I didn't mean to talk over you.
yeah, I'm just thinking out loud here. I mean, I think this is gonna be intentionally vague here, but the posts must be consistent with Libertarian Party platforms and just kind of leave it at that. Um, what that is, we can talk about after. If we see something disagreeable, we can talk about it later. But it's very, very seldom I see anything disagreeable.
Right.
Um,
And also keep in mind, most of us have admin privs to the social media. So if something like that's something that Tim posts potentially, or any one of us posts potentially, becomes an issue for any one of the rest of us, we would obviously raise that and then could have a further discussion on either deleting or editing the post, right?
right, right. Um,
I just, my main thing is that I just wanted that two-thirds majority vote to be stricken in some way.
right, right. No, that's not necessary. I mean, it's too stringent to get anything done here. Um, not well, yeah. Yeah, I honestly, let's just keep it. All posts must stay consistent with Libertarian Party platforms and the non-aggression principle.
I like that. We could probably slot that exact wording in for that section. Anyone opposed to that? Okay, hearing none, can we, Ben, can you actually slot that into that document? And then we'll do a motion to, or actually, so I motion that Jim's all posts must remain consistent with the Libertarian platform. I would say Libertarian Party of Maine's platform
Yep.
and the non-aggression principle, not NAP.
Yep. And the non-aggression principle to be, if we're
Yeah.
going to be, yeah. And I would capitalize the A and P, the aggression as well, just to be on, just to keep it, yeah, thanks.
All right. So the motion is, let me pull up the social media on my end. All right. So the motion is to replace section 3, or what is it? Article 3, section B of the social media section of our SOP, which states posts expressing political positions or critiques require a 2/3 majority vote of the executive committee to be replaced by all posts must remain consistent with the Libertarian Party of Maine's platform and non-aggression principle. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, motion passes. Let them, yeah, cool, got it. Let me go back. We're almost there. Posting schedule will be tabled because Tim's not here. I just want to take this moment at 2024 to reiterate we are in desperate need of a legislative chair. So anyone and everyone, any of you know that would have any idea, any interest at all, try and bark up that tree. Obviously someone that's of our ilk and going to be able to really dig into the comings and goings at the State House on our behalf. At 2025, I'm going to go to Jason as a report on the AI tool situation, where we're at with all of that currently.
Yep. So this was already motioned a while ago. The cost to open an account for the LPME with Gemini. So I am going to open that account this week and transfer all the gems or custom GPTs to that. I will share that on the Discord channel. So Dane, you just let me know if you want to just for XCOM member. I'll probably just put it in the XCOM channel.
Yeah, for now, I think it's just XCOM only until
So
we've tested things out, and at which point I would very much welcome Tim and Matt and Gina's vote as well.
The positive thing that since this is through Google, what I will do is that I will sign up the account underneath the generic LP account that we have. And the way it works is that you could have this, I think, logged in up to like 14 devices at the same time. So as long as you're not using the query at the same exact second, it will go through. Like right now, I have it on my tablet, on two of my tablets, my phone, my laptop, and I can just jump back and forth. I would say though is that we should, and I'll create an SOP that once you're done using it, that you should delete whatever chat you did, because otherwise we will all have access to whatever you were chatting about. So, but I'll create like a best practices and so on and so forth. But once it's set up, we'll do either a tech call or something just to walk everybody through the custom gems. But all the same things that we had on the ChatGPT account will be on this account. And then in the future, when we choose to integrate this into the website, it'll also get sourced through this account as well. So that way the billing and everything's all set up. So I will work on that probably this weekend, since it's the first weekend in a while we're not doing anything, and I'll have it ready by next week.
Cool. And if Ben, if you can I just put a link in the chat to our SOP folder. If you could just kind of put that there, that we'll have an SOP there at some point governing this.
I'll write, because I think I actually had already some of them, but I'll create new SOPs
I
on
think,
each
yeah,
individual.
you've got a couple, you have endorsements and the podcast planner
Okay.
in the SOP drafts folder. But
Okay.
I just put the root for just the general SOPs in the disk in our
All right.
cloud.
I'll create SOPs for each individual gem so that way anyone can use them. So basically, it'll tell you what the gem is, what it's designed to do. It'll give you a few examples of what kind of prompts you can use to go ahead and get started with. So
Okay.
we had a Libertarian quiz one that a few people have used already through the gem, but that'll be on there. Plus the Libertarian lens. We'll have the main legislative one back on there again. So everything will get set up, and I'll create custom SOPs on what each gem is, how it functions, what you should be saying to it, so on and so forth. And then if you want to also use it just to do like generic searches, you can. So yeah.
Perfect. As a point of personal privilege, if you wouldn't mind creating a subfolder within SOPs for AI tool specific
Yep,
stuff.
can do.
Wait. Hey, you go back. Um, all right. This is something that I had an idea about, and I kind of wanted to postulate it to the group. So it's been our strategy as of late financially to try as hard as we can to stay away from any of the Victory Fund money. I want to ask the group, is there a place that any of us can think of right now of somewhere where we could put a portion of that money because we're not trying to touch it right now that could net some growth for us over the next few years?
You mean, and now obviously something more bigger than this, but like a certificate, so
CD
yeah,
or
like CD,
right.
that's what I was
Yeah.
thinking. Yeah. Um, I think we need a more deeper analysis of that because, when you look, we got $600 in that other account here. How much longer is it going to be before we eventually have to tap into it? Um, and how much should we be bringing in? Um, I think we need a separate meeting for that.
Okay. I'd like to get Jason's opinion on this as the treasurer.
um, if you're asking if there are kinds of things we can do, yes. So we could basically put, like, practically, we could open up a um, unsubsidized Roth account that's linked to the LLC. So I guess a positive of Citizens United is that corporations are people too. So we are able to open our own personal Roth IRA basically and put those funds in there. So we can set it up in a way so that way it is a like slow growth account, basically meaning that it will not invest funds into specific volatile stocks. It's going to keep them in the ones that it knows does well. So the growth rate will be probably like 3% per year, which is still higher than like a long-term savings account.
Right.
Yeah.
So it'll be something. We could up it or down it over time. This way, also the party controls it. So technically, in terms of like the practicality, we can do that. There's a few things we could do. I mean, it depends. Like honestly, it depends on how much effort we want to put into it. So for anybody who's not aware, I have my Series 7, my Series 6, and my Series 8 because I used to be a day trader. So I could act on behalf for the party to go ahead and like secure some of these accounts. But I would say is that whatever gets done, we have to create a really clear and clean SOP. So that way, when I'm not in the party anymore, or anybody else in this group is not on the party anymore, these funds don't just like disappear into the ether. We'd
Right.
have to set it up under a trust so that not one individual can have access to it without it going through some type of like two-factor authentication. Like there's a lot of things that go into doing it. Can it be done practically? Yes, but the process wouldn't be as simple as just like going onto a website and opening an account. This would
Right.
be a little bit more of a process because we'd have to have a trust set up so that way it's not under an individual's name but underneath the corporation's name. Like there's a bunch of additional steps, but it could be done.
Okay. Any other comments or concerns about this before we move on?
Yeah, there's the concern of, are we even allowed to do this as a political party? That's something state ethics committee might not allow.
So
And I mean,
we, yeah, we would have to
savings,
declare it all still, Sean. Like, so technically, like right now with the declarations now, there is a portion there for like long term of this general assets, which this would fall under. So we'd have to do like whoever's in charge, whoever the next treasurer is, would have to go in every single month and basically report our gains and losses, basically as like a memo addendum every time it's filing.
And the other problem would be our mortal enemy, the IRS.
Hmm.
So anytime, again, the same rules would apply that, especially with a Roth. And this is the positive part about a Roth, is that you can do withdrawals on like a 401k. So basically, like you can go ahead and pull anything out. The thing is that whenever you pull out, it's a capital gains. So
Right.
you would get taxed on it. So this is what, I mean, there's a lot more that goes. Practically, yes, we could do this. But then like the idea would be like I would not put like the entire fund in there because we're basically saying that, hey, we're committing to not touching this money for at least 5 or 6 years. So that way,
Right.
by the time we have to pay the capital's gains, it's not going to overwrite whatever we got in terms of growth. So like we would have to determine how much we want to put in there. There's a lot of extra steps. Is it worth doing? I would say yes. Can we do it practically? Yes. But also like to Sean's concerns, we probably want to get the ethics board, like our ethics committee involved. We want to reach out to the main ethics board just to clarify, like, hey, this is what we're doing. These are the steps we're going through. Can you please make sure that this is okay with the state? I think technically we would have to I think we have to declare it with the SEC too, because it would be linked to our SEC account as well. Because I just hoping to recognize this because when I did the last SEC filing, there's an actual portion there for like secondary and tertiary assets. So like if you own the building, that has to go as part of your SEC filing. I think this would apply to that as well. So like, there's a bunch of other things that are involved, but yes,
SEC or FEC?
FEC. Sorry, I said SEC. FEC.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Your country has weird acronyms. What do you want me to do?
That's our
right.
country, man. You live here.
So,
Yeah.
so it
WTF.
sounds like we're in support of this, and it's something that we should, keep an eye on and continue to investigate. Yes.
I really think this is part of a larger discussion about financial planning too, anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
If you guys
Okay.
if you want to schedule something to go over this, like in more highlight, I could get us some information. I could probably reach out to JP Morgan Chase where I used to work and get us like an actual financial counselor to give us a walkthrough. They wouldn't charge us anything. I could have one of my old buddies do it, so on and so forth.
Could we put something on the books for like late April, maybe?
Just give me the date so I can set it up.
I mean, I would say reach out to whomever would come and talk to us, and then let the group know and create a Zoom meeting.
I will reach out to them tomorrow. See what I can get. You guys are just giving me a lot of work to do. Jesus, I'm gonna start billing.
Mm.
All right, moving along. Just want to give the floor to Matt about our latest roundtable episode that we did at 2036.
Yeah, just a quick wrap up. So I'm looking at statistics here. Overall views. So 3 posts, the one full podcast, which was about an hour and 20 minutes. And then I broke up a couple smaller reels, a 4.5 minute and about a 55-second reel. A little over 1,000 views total on all 3. Podcast, 317 views. Hold on before we start patting ourselves in the back. The other ones were about 280 views. Most of those views were for mere seconds, probably stopped for as they were scrolling through. I mean, we can even look for the hour and 20-minute podcast. The average watch time was 54 seconds. So people aren't watching it. But when we look at the 55-second short, average watch time was 8 seconds, but 288 views, which is total watch time of 35 minutes. So, about 35 full views if you look at it this way. What else is interesting? The full podcast was mainly followers of the page itself. But the two shorts, especially the 55-second one, over 100 non-followers. So it's breaking out of the channel and getting into the main, not Maine with an E, MAIN, the main Facebook algorithm, and getting out to people outside of just the Facebook's, the Maine Libertarian Facebook sphere, which is obviously good. I don't know. I'd have to go back and really look at some of the statistics to see if that upped overall Facebook membership any. YouTube, 9 views. So we're really not breaking anything, but there's not a whole lot of posts on the YouTube channel. So I think going through with, especially with more shorts and reels, I mean, I think that's the new hotness right now. The one thing I sent out in the Discord channel is we didn't do a great job, and this is something I need to, as we produce it, identify. We didn't do a great job making things that can stand alone. So we had a lot of great points, and Riverside will even go through and say, hey, here's a great thing. You might want to make it a reel, but it starts with no context whatsoever because we're just talking. And it's like, yeah, that is a really good point, but nobody's going to have any clue what we're talking about if we try and make this a reel. What I need to do is kind of identify that as we're going through it with a timestamp. And then we go back afterwards and basically recreate it with, it'll be a little unnatural, but we recreate that with some context that goes into it, so folks kind of understand, and we can have a lot more of these shorts and reels and whatever the channel calls them. I think that's really what's going to bring people in. Moving on to the next one. So we're looking at probably next week, sometime for filming. These are the topics kind of I've outlined right now, and this is not all inclusive, nor is it we're going to talk about all these. These are just some of the spitball ideas. I don't think we've identified who the guests are going to be. I'm assuming Dane and Jason, you guys are probably on board. But if anybody else feels that they may be a good person to talk on behalf of this, you're obviously welcome to join. So I would assume State of the Union, Iran and Venezuela. Those are probably, and Iran and Venezuela probably will be rolled up into a single one. Those are more the national news. We're starting to see rumblings about Republicans kind of nuking the single issue, nuking the filibuster. If that really gains any traction for the SAVE Act, we can talk that. But right now, I think that's just Senator, one Texas senator trying to get elected. I don't know if that's actually going to happen. So, and going down the new Second Amendment laws in Maine, the gun serialization, every gun has to be serialized by 2027. That law is already passed, but I think that needs probably some discussion. And then there's a bill, last I saw was in committee, that'll bring changes to FFL requirements that will, one, probably close every small FFL in the state because it's just going to make it, they're not going to be able to.
Gome had an email about that today. I don't know how many of you are on Gome's email list, but they discussed that at length on their email.
Also, the big scary part, what it does is it creates a gun registry. FFLs are going to be required to indefinitely maintain all their, Jason, help me out with the form number, 4063.
4063, yeah.
And they will be required to produce them without a warrant at request. So the state can basically say, show me all your gun sales. So that sucks. Connecticut homeschool bill. So Maine school boards are starting to realize that. So I think I saw it. Maine has the highest percentage of homeschooled children per capita in the country. And school boards in the state are starting to realize that they're starting to lose students. Connecticut's looking to pass a bill that will make it, if you withdraw a student for any reason, homeschooling being one of them, you will automatically be reported to CPS within the state of Connecticut.
What?
So
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh.
Yeah.
That's insane.
So, this is this is the test bed to start scaring homeschoolers to put their kids back into school unless you want CPS knocking on your door. So it's only, once it happens in one blue state, it's going to happen in a lot of the blue states. So if this passes in Connecticut, it could be a sign of things to come. Like I said, especially where Maine is really starting to realize homeschooling is pulling a lot of students out of schools.
Ridiculous.
Real quick, Matt, if you could find out what that bill is and
that's not a problem.
Post that in the Discord channel under, I don't know, national politics and just add everyone. For those of you that are tabling the homeschool conference, please intimately familiarize yourself with what's going on in our fellow New England state. Because I'm sure everyone there will know what's going on down there, and we should certainly be ready to talk about that from our perspective.
Yeah, I'll find a few things. I'll post it as soon as I'm done talking here. I'll go through it. I've been kind of reading it as we've been talking here.
Also, Ben, the LD number is 1821 for the Maine Bureau of ATF, not the FFL bill. So anyone that wants to go look at that,
LD 1821.
1821.
Yeah, forgive me. I don't remember what the law that's already passed that requires serialization is.
I can't remember either.
I'll go into the gems right now and pick them up.
Going on. So there was a vote for they wanted to bypass home rule within municipalities to allow solar farms to go up. That didn't make it out of committee. So I mean, that's kind of a good news story. The people rose up and went in and said, we don't want this, and it didn't make it out of committee. So I think just touching on, like, you do actually sometimes have a voice is still important to keep people motivated. Ranked choice voting in the state, even the AG has said this is unconstitutional. I haven't done enough research on it. It looks like it's going to the state Supreme Court. But now I'm sure ranked choice voting at all elections, to include state elections, and that's where the violation of the state constitution supposedly happens. And then Dane brought up the Nokomis Valley middle school student that was suspended for talking with his friend about Title IX violations in the school being under investigation, and the student got suspended. We kind of talked about it in Discord, whether we do or don't want to talk about it. I think it's a great topic, I fear that there is something that we're not hearing. And what I would hate to do is have the podcast talk about this. Hey, they're censoring our, people's right to speak. And then it turns out that he, said this and punched somebody in the face or something. Obviously I don't think that's what happened, but there's more to the story that we're not hearing. And so that's the only reason why I'm a little reluctant. I think by the time we actually record this podcast, more may be out about this. I think it is something really big in the state. I think it does show that a lot of people are pushing back against some of this stuff. So it may be a worthwhile discussion. In looking to protect the organization, I don't want somebody to say something that it turns around that, we look like assholes because it turned out that there was more to the story than we were hearing. And that's all I have.
Awesome. Just let Jason and I know in our private chat when we want to schedule filming for next week. Or you can actually, you know what? You can probably put it in the roundtable channel. We don't need to keep it private. So if someone else wants to join, who have been on episodes previously, you guys are more than welcome.
Real quick, just for anybody who's interested, the bill that was just mentioned in Maine about the serialization is LD 1126. which is an act requiring serial numbers on firearms or prohibiting undetectable firearms, or the Ghost Gun Act. So that's that one. The one that he was just mentioning about what's happening with homeschooling in Connecticut, that is HB 5468 and SB 6. So just really quick, just reiterate what it does is that current state that if a person wants to withdraw their child is a private parental decision. DSF involvement only if there is a reasonable suspicion and there is no approval needed. Parents just notify and that's it. The bill would change it so that way automatically when a child is withdrawn, it would trigger a notification to DCF. It would automatically do a background check for every single withdrawal, no matter what the reason provided, and that the withdrawal could be denied if family has any DCF history or DCF has a concern.
Holy shit. What was that SB number again?
SB 6 or
okay.
HB 5468. That's for Connecticut. For Maine, it's LD 1126. And that's the Ghost Gun one.
And just so everybody is aware, LD 1126 has already been passed and will go into effect in January of 2027 if that does or does not apply to you.
One little correction for the minutes there. It's just Nokomis, not Nokomis Valley. You just change Valley to middle school because it's a middle school student, right?
Yeah, I was just looking at the article, and that's where I put it. It said it was Nokomis Valley Middle School. That was the name of the school itself.
What's the source?
I don't know.
Okay, yeah, it's just Nokomis. There's no Nokomis Valley.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. And then the last item I had is 2049. This is more of like gonna probably end up being more of a Substack thing. Of just kind of month in review, wins and losses for Liberty. So this is just kind of going to be a constant effort on all of our parts for both social media via whether it be Tim or the rest of us and or whoever's doing blog posts through the Substack of just reporting things like this to, and trying to give our perspective on them. Just another avenue of us engaging on the issues. This is going to be kind of a moving target. I'm more bringing this up just to kind of offer up the idea and see if anyone has any refinement. Because it's pretty much just, me throwing something against the wall at this point. Bueller?
I think we just hit a wall here. That's all, Dane. I'm trying to wrap my head around it here. Compare ones. I mean, I like the idea. How it's implemented is. I think we need to talk about it another time. I guess we're tabling something else unless someone wants to jump on this.
That's the last item of the evening.
All right.
So we can keep that and maybe come back to it next month. With that, I will motion to adjourn.
Just one quick follow-up on something earlier. The deadline for having a convention is August 1st.
Okay.
All right. Then we definitely need to get a settled date. Let's do that at the next XXCOM meeting.
I'll find it.
It's a search convention.
Oh, yeah, idea. There we go.
Darcy B.
All right.
All right. So I will motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right. Any discussion? All in favor?
Cannot be discussed.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
True. All right. Any opposed? Cool. We are adjourned.